One, we are live. Hello and welcome to PropTech Buzz, a global platform where we bring in PropTech leaders from all over the world and learn from them how to grow and scale successful PropTech companies. Before I introduce my guest today, I would request all of my audience to subscribe to this channel because the more people subscribe to this channel, more people like this channel, we reach out to a wider audience. And with that, let me introduce my guest today. My guest today is Sylvia. Sylvia is the managing director of PropTech Bulgaria and SEEP PropTech, the one-stop shop of all information, knowledge, and insights about PropTech in Bulgaria and Central and Southeast Europe. Central and Southeast Europe comprises of 10 countries. And for 8 years now, PropTech Bulgaria has been the first and only PropTech association in Bulgaria and the driving force behind uniting PropTech in the Central and Southeast Europe. I was completely amazed to know about this story. I'm going to ask Sylvia during the course of the interview on the behind the scenes story about how PropTech Bulgaria was one of the first ones to begin. Since 2018, PropTech Bulgaria has represented the country in all major international PropTech organizations. Some of the partners of PropTech Bulgaria over the years have been Vienna Business Agency, Postbank, Europe Bank, LLV Technology, EOS Matrix, and a long list of other PropTech companies. Sylvia has been part of the Department of Strategy of large holding companies in the field of construction, real estate, and IT, and internal and external consultant on corporate restructuring, international business development. She has been an investment analyst at the largest industrial zone in Southeast Europe. She has led due diligence as auditor at restructuring, consultant to board of directors and owners of large companies operating in Bulgaria. She has been a chief negotiator on behalf of investors in large-scale international projects estimated around 100 million euros of investment. Sylvia has obtained her MBA from OUBS UK in 2013, and OUBS degree ranks in the top 1% of the best MBA degrees in the world. Sylvia holds university degrees in commerce and management law studies. She holds an associate status of CIPD London. Since 2016, Sylvia has achieved the status of internationally certified management consultant in strategy and international business development. So as you can see, we have no ordinary guest today on our podcast. I'm so excited and thrilled to have this conversation that she agreed to be here. So Sylvia, welcome to PropTech Buzz. How are you doing today?
Thank you very much for the invite, and I'm very happy that I can participate in your podcast. Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia, for taking time out. I know I shared a lot about your experience, but are there parts of your story that I have not yet shared today? Is there anything that is still missing there that I have not shared?
Only to divert your attention of the audience to one specifics, because people who are already in the PropTech sector, and I'm sure that you yourself interviewing so many other people from the PropTech sector worldwide, you know that usually people come from one of these backgrounds. They either come from a PropTech company, or they have previously worked at a real estate company, a few in construction. And there are also some who have consultancy experience, and afterwards they enter PropTech. The specifics with me is that I have all these before entering PropTech, which really gives me a very unusual viewpoint on what's going on because of my previous background. Really, more than 8 years in construction, and real estate is really very long time. And I have worked in all asset classes: industrial, retail, office. And I have also worked in all types of companies that are along the whole supply chain of construction and real estate. It's really huge. And that's why I'm about to share some very interesting viewpoints on PropTech, because my opinions comprise all these experience. that comes before me entering PropTech.
Nice. Yeah, I have interviewed a lot of people, but your credentials, I just read through your credentials. You are a super achiever. You have accomplished so much, and that is something really, really nice to know. We are lucky to have you. Thank you so much
Yeah,
again,
thank
Sylvia.
you. Yeah.
Uh, so, tell us about PropTech Bulgaria. How did it become the champion of sorts? Because it's not one of the biggest countries in Europe, right? But still, what is the story about Bulgaria? What was the founding story? How did it become the champion of European PropTech?
Thank you for this question. It's true that Bulgaria is not the largest among the largest in territory. It ranks 10th in territory in Europe among more than 35 European countries. We are neither small nor large. And definitely Bulgaria is one of the most developed in information technologies in the world. Which is very important. Me personally, and the story of me and my team. So we have previous very good experience in construction through estate and also in information technologies. So few people at that point of time, 2016, 2017, had that viewpoint. We were the first really to foster the application of software and hardware technologies in construction through estate in Bulgaria, starting a pre-accelerator program in 2016-2017. And this was the start of PropTech Bulgaria. But definitely, as I have previously shared with you, founding an entrepreneurial endeavor is easy. Staying alive is the tricky point. And yes, thriving through the turbulences of time and circumstances, because definitely PropTech is a very turbulent area. You have, and I'm sure also the audience has heard numerous number of times that the sales cycles in construction through estate are very long. These may take 2 to 3 years time. But at the same time, the so-called clock speed cycle of business models is very short. What do I mean? It means that the clock speed start running. It is as if a clock is running.
What do you mean by clock speed?
Yes, and so. This is the moment when a business model is a good one, generating money, till the point when your offering or anybody's offering is out of date, and it simply doesn't generate the money you need, the revenue you need to operate.
Is it break even? Break even is similar.
No, it is break even is part of the clock speed. But the clock speed is, for example, you have the camera, the standard camera, and afterwards you have all iPhones and all cell phones, which just make the cameras no longer so applicable. This is just a short, a very
That is the clock speed till the time you are relevant.
yes, the lifespan of a product. The
Till the time
lifespan
you're relevant until you're disrupted by a new technology or
exactly,
something.
exactly. Until
Got
you're
it.
disrupted by new technology or by a new business model.
So
And the
you are saying construction tech has longer sales cycle and shorter clock speed cycle.
PropTech, PropTech
Yeah,
has very
PropTech. Yes.
short, yes, but particularly when it comes to PropTech associations. It also affects PropTech. But when we talk about the business models of PropTech associations, it is even shorter. This was a very, very huge surprise for me because, as you shared with the audience, my previous experience, I am a professional in corporate management, in managing businesses, large businesses. So it was really surprising for me that the clock speed cycle in the business models of PropTech associations is so short. It's only 2-3 years. You generate a revenue generating business model, and in 2 or 3 years it's done.
Wow.
You need to
But
generate another one.
what are you disrupted by? I thought you'll only grow strength by strength and become bigger, right? What will you be disrupted by?
Usually, the disrupting circumstances come from other PropTech associations, which copy what someone else is doing, and so your competitive advantage is diminishing. And this is one of the reasons. The other reason are the circumstances that surround us. The economic and political circumstances which affect our business, the whole economy, and also our business. These affect also PropTechs at large, and PropTech associations in particular. And it was, for example, very surprising for us. I shared with you previously that PropTech Bulgaria, together with the Italian PropTech network, the Austrian PropTech initiative, the Belgian PropTech club, and the UK PropTech associations. We were the first associations in Europe. We occurred completely separately, with no relation to each other, but we were the first one in 2016, 2017. And all the others occurred later on, around 2020, when there was a promise for funding by the European Union. And so, for example, the Nordic, the Swiss, the Danish PropTech associations, and many other smaller PropTech associations were established around 2020 at the promise of this funding. But this funding didn't happen. So you can imagine how this affected the PropTech associations and their relations. And afterwards, many other PropTech associations just stopped operating. They were frozen, or they diverted the activities in other areas. And it is really very tough to work because there are very few partners we can partner among the PropTech associations. And why I'm talking so much about PropTech associations, because this is the entry point for PropTechs in a certain country. This should be the best entry point for PropTech to enter a certain country or to get market information, rather than entering straight into the market without having any information about the market specifics and without having the direct contacts. PropTech associations should be shortcuts for market entry, and they should save PropTechs a lot of money, time, and efforts, and make their entry in a different market very easy. But when you see that there are issues with these entry points, then it makes the entrance of PropTechs very difficult. That's why I'm talking so much about PropTech associations.
Got it. Thank you so much for sharing that. I've spoken to PropTech founders, but nobody told me the dynamics of PropTech association. So when you say when you say business model of a PropTech association, primarily it's membership fee. Am I right?
No. I'm sure that I will surprise you in many areas, but definitely I'm talking really from the standpoint of a person whom has advised large businesses nearly all my life. And so the membership business model works very well in Western Europe. And this is due to the mindset that Western European countries are very rich and everybody should expand there. which is a false, very, very faulty mindset, very
Mm,
faulty,
mm,
because it is very widespread. So there are too many players, PropTech companies that want to expand there, and it
mm.
gets overly saturated.
So
Firstly,
you mean the hidden opportunities are in other places of Europe? Is that how it is?
yes and no. I will just explain in a second.
Okay.
And the other thing is that some of these countries are really overly saturated with certain types of PropTech solutions.
Mm,
There's also one very widespread perception about PropTech
mm,
that the most developed economically countries
mm,
have the largest. Yes, they do have a big number of PropTechs,
mm,
but this big number of PropTechs is associated with also a large type of PropTechs. That
mm,
means that they have everything from everything.
mm,
It's not true.
mm.
It's not true. Countries are specialized in certain types of PropTechs.
Wow.
For example, I can give you very easy examples, easy to understand. Spain is a
Mm,
country that due to its economic structure of real estate, they have
mm,
numerous real estate agencies, numerous
mm,
thousands of
mm,
real estate agencies, and so the market and transact part of PropTech is very well developed. And they in this country you have a really large number of PropTechs that serve real estate agencies and their
mm,
business and facilitate it. And Spain is the country with the largest and really very, very high quality visualization PropTechs. Very high quality.
okay. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Few countries have so many and so good.
Mm,
And for example, we have had such cases from the one such case with the digital twin for the market and transact from Romania,
mm,
and they wanted to enter Spain. And both me and our partner in Spain, which is a very, very large association there with
mm,
thousands of members, both of us said that it is madness because there are so many, and the market is so saturated, and all of these solutions are very, very high level solutions. It's not
mhm,
useful to enter such a highly saturated market
mhm,
with a solution like this. But there are countries which doesn't have such solutions. So
mhm,
these countries, for example, could be Western European ones, but could be also in the other part of Europe.
mhm,
So what, for example, the solutions that Spain lacks are context solutions in the construction technologies.
mhm,
So this is very important for PropTechs to know that each country is completely differently, unevenly developed in PropTech.
mhm,
It has strengths and it has weaknesses. And if
mhm,
the respective PropTech solution is covering an area that the country lacks such solutions, it's okay to enter. But no matter whether the solution is genius,
mm,
if there's too many in the country, it's completely waste of time.
mm. Got it. Oh, this
Yeah.
is so much of valuable information here. Thank you. It just shows your experience here.
Yeah.
What are so while every country is different, what could you list some differentiators of PropTech Bulgaria?
Okay, each country is different depending on the governmental policy, on the past experience, educational experience, the educational structures in the country,
Mhm,
and so also the state policy for the medium term or short term. What are the construction projects on the radar of each country? How it is positioned internationally? It's really very important. And you have such a profile of countries in Europe. And no one should underestimate this profile of countries. For example, there are 4 industrial powerhouses in Europe. 4. And in these industrial powerhouses, these are 4 countries, you can find also the largest number of industrial asset class PropTechs. There's a direct link between the development of the traditional industry of the construction real estate and the PropTech solutions. And when there isn't such an overlap, then you have a free market niche. And I can also share such a case, because there is a very good such a case in Europe. So these 4 industrial powerhouses in Europe are Germany, holding the first place, followed by Austria, Poland, and Bulgaria. The 3 are more or less with the one and the same results. And the situation is the same in PropTech. You have the largest number of industrial asset class PropTech solutions in Germany. And afterwards, the other 3 countries are with more or less similar results. So the other thing is, for example, now Romania, which is also part of the Central Southeast European region. And it is relatively large, one of the largest in territory in Europe. And Romania is being positioned as a country, as a logistics hub. So you have the need for more retail PropTechs. Yes, because it is warehouse and logistics, and there are not so many retail PropTechs in Romania. So this is a free market niche. So that's why it is important to take into consideration all these facets of the economic profile of countries, how traditional industries in the country are developed, and the type of PropTechs which are already there. And you asked me about some of the differentiators. This is a very big differentiator of PropTech Bulgaria. We are the first and only one who have built and structured the largest existing database of European PropTechs, which exists. It is over 6,500 companies, which are European origin companies. And we release such reports for all 35 European countries. That's why we know in which country what is there and what is not. Nice. And it's very important. We also take all these statistics for each country. So we know the profile of the country, we know what kind of PropTechs are there, and we can very easily say if there's PropTech niche for a certain solution, or you shouldn't waste your time and money to enter into a certain country. And
so you are offering not just consulting or insights for Bulgaria, but whole of
exactly.
Wow.
Yes, we are the only one. We built this database for these 8+ years that we have been operating on the market. It's huge. We update it regularly and release annual reports with the profile of each country, each of these 35 countries. And we are the only one that release such peculiar very specific analysis on the Central and Southeast Europe, on all 10 countries, because our region is really very crucial. And yes, I will be happy to share more information afterwards in the interview.
This is
yes,
awesome.
why?
I'm gonna promote this clip on LinkedIn. I'm sure people know about you, but more people need to know about this.
Yeah.
Because nobody would go to PropTech Bulgaria to know about Europe, right? And that is the specialty about such conversations where I get to understand this. Excellent. This is awesome. Great. So I'm sure PropTech Bulgaria is one of the first PropTech communities in the world. But how difficult was it to navigate this real estate sector, and especially At that time, it was relatively unknown, right? So give me some behind the scenes story of the early days of PropTech Bulgaria and how difficult was it?
Yeah, definitely quite difficult, rather difficult. I dare say it's really very very tough. It continues to be tough, but as Lars Sommers in your interview with him on Swiss PropTech shared with you, since it started in the winter in December 2019, the Green Deal was released, and after that, for more than 4 years now, you have a really flood of legislation, new legislation in Europe, and it is very important for any prop tech. More or less, European prop techs are quite aware of this new legislation. But when it comes to prop techs that are outside Europe, they should know that in order, if they want to enter any of the European countries, they should comply with this legislation, and it's quite tough, really quite tough and enormous. You just can't imagine how many legislative acts they issue every month. It is impossible to read them.
Yeah, exactly.
So that is this is one more reason why it's very important to have the PropTech Association, to have the right contact if a PropTech wants to enter a country because of this legislation. And this European level legislation should be transferred within 2 or 3 years' time on a national level. And each country has its own speed of transferring this legislation. So each association knows to what extent this legislation is applicable and mandatory for the PropTechs, and what should be done within the next few years.
Right.
So that is why it's very important also to talk with the right people for the respective countries. And, for example, this legislation and this pressure from above speeds up the awareness of companies that they should do something, because maybe you know, but this year, for example, the asset management companies are obliged to report according to the EU taxonomy starting from this year, from 1st of January 2024. So it's already in force. So from next year, large construction companies and real estate companies will also be affected. So these are very short time spans for them, and they should do really a lot of work. And one thing which is really very clear from all these legislative acts is that companies are obliged. They are obliged to appropriate and to apply PropTech solutions. They are obliged. Yes, which is very good for the PropTech solutions. But yes, at the moment, most companies are just in a kind of a chaos. They know that they should do something because this legislation is mandatory, but they don't know exactly what. But this is our role to help understand both sides, the construction, asset management companies, and other institutions as well. And the PropTechs, how they can cooperate and what they should do.
Got it. Excellent. Are you one of the most knowledgeable in this space? I've spoken to a lot of people. I've never heard such insights. That is coming from a leader in Bulgaria. This is very, very fascinating.
Bulgaria ranks 5th in Europe, on 5th place in PropTech. In terms of not only the number of PropTechs, but also the type of PropTechs. Only Germany, the UK, France, and Spain are before Bulgaria.
Wow.
So it's very important in some areas. For example, water management. We have the greatest number of solutions. We are first in Europe. We are among the top 3 in energy tech solutions. You know that energy techs are mandatory when it comes to operational carbon footprint.
Hmm.
Together with Germany and Switzerland, we have
Hmm.
the most solutions. So Bulgaria is really very high in PropTech in
Wow.
terms of
And
development.
you must have played a role also there, okay, in becoming a catalyst on bringing together on the buyer side and the seller side, driving
Yes,
driving awareness and stuff like that, no,
yes,
adoption.
sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah, this is one of the roles of the associations.
See,
Yeah.
I did not have Bulgaria. So what we are doing on PropTech Buzz is we're creating country-wise portals so that
Mm-hmm.
because unlike any other industry, PropTech is still local. Yes, software is global, but still it is local. Somebody who is in a country, he would want to see what are the applications are available in my country, right? So we are creating a Middle East portal. We are creating a UK portal. Bulgaria was not in my mind at all. So now I am convinced that we should have Bulgaria portal also on the roadmap so that we can highlight the PropTech companies there.
Yeah.
Talking about PropTech companies, what are some of the exciting examples of PropTechs that have originated from Bulgaria? Could you highlight
Yeah.
some successful ones?
We have really a large number of good examples, but I will share some which are very well known. The first one, and it is one of my favorite, is CAS. CAS merges with Inkscape Germany and became the global leader in 3D visualization in
Mm.
the real world and the metaverse.
Mm.
It merged on 11th of January 2022. Afterwards, they bought Danish PropTech. The headquarters of CAS are in Bulgaria,
Mm.
though they have also headquarters in Germany, in Czech Republic. This is in Germany, there in Karlsruhe. You
Mm.
know that there's one of the best technological universities
AIT,
in the
AIT,
world are in
Cultural Institute of
Karlsruhe.
Technology,
Yes,
Cultural Institute of Technology, AIT. Yeah.
and for the same reason, they're in Prague, in Czech Republic, because yes, they want to take advantage of the brightest minds. But their largest team is in Bulgaria because really we have here really very very bright people, and. So now why I love this example because the technologies of chaos are used in movies making.
Oh,
Jurassic Park, for
how do,
example.
how do how do you spell it? Cares? How do you spell it?
Yeah, like yes, CHOS, CHAOS.
Oh, chaos.
Yes.
And what would be
So
the website? Chaos.com. 3D rendering and simulation.
yes, I think
Wow.
it's
Oh, wow.
okay. So their technology is used in the film industry, and for example, in the Jurassic Park videos, movies. But what they say and why we consider them prop tech, because they say that. The movie industry is not their preferred customer. They're not as payable as um, uh, yes, I think this is their website.
Mm.
They're not as payable as the architects. So the
Mm.
architects are
Oh,
their major
architecture here.
customer.
Mm.
Yes,
Nice.
and that's why they're used there as an AECO, the type of PropTechs in
Mm.
this subsector, PropTech subsector.
Mm.
And they work a lot of with architects and construction engineers, and so I love this company really.
This is from
Very very
Bulgaria.
good. Pardon?
This, this is from Bulgaria.
Yes, it's a Bulgarian, and their office they have built a separate office building in Sofia. It's at the entrance of Sofia, So yes,
Nice.
for their
Lovely.
staff.
Lovely,
This is
lovely.
really very, very large company.
Mm,
And another one which is also very well known is Office R&D. This is a solution that serves mainly co-working spaces.
mm,
It is registered in the UK
mm,
because they got the external funding from there. They
mm.
also have a registration office in the USA, but their founders are Bulgarians and their whole teams are in Bulgaria and they are settled in Bulgaria.
I know
Though
about Office. I
they
read
are
it.
registered,
Mm,
yes, because of the external funding in London, but
mm.
their whole teams and everything is in Bulgaria and they are Bulgarian
Very good. Wow.
solution.
Mm,
Another one, which I also like it a lot, is M Climate. It is a smart building and smart home solution.
mhm,
They're very good because they have developed both their hardware and software solutions.
mhm,
Because in many prop techs which apply hardware, they usually borrow it
mhm,
as know-how, and they just buy it ready,
mm,
which can create certain issues
mm,
afterwards, the exploitation phase. But M Climate have developed both their hardware and software.
mm.
It's very important. They operate in more than 70 countries worldwide
Wow.
and expanding. Yes, and they're really very good at what they're doing.
Mm,
Another one is Alterco Robotics, which is also very famous with their solution Shelly.
mhm,
They're also smart home and smart building solution, and since 2023, the beginning of 2023, they are listed at the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. They became public company.
mhm,
And so it is really also a very widely developed internationally PropTech solution that is settled. All these companies are settled in Bulgaria.
mhm.
The whole teams are in Bulgaria.
Nice.
Mhm.
Excellent. I was not aware of so there are so many small snippets that are worth sharing in small how do you call it, shorts, YouTube shorts.
Yes,
We'll do that.
yes. Mhm.
Excellent. Great. Let's now talk about the global perspective and the future trends. And you are anyways educating a global market as well across the Europe. But how does PropTech Bulgaria collaborate with international PropTech communities? Like what are your relationship with them, and how do you collaborate?
As mentioned, it's quite a challenge to collaborate, but we do believe that this is the way.
Mm,
Because no matter, for example, we have all this information about all 35 European countries,
mm,
but nobody has the local connections
mm,
and can have the local connections.
mm,
And so it's very important to partner with each other,
mm,
and to have such a very trustworthy partner who has a very good standing and trust in the respective country.
mm,
So that's why we have established 2.5 years ago, even more, the European PropTech Cross-Border Initiative. It
mm,
is an alliance among equals. It's very
mm,
important because all countries there are equal. There's no one headquarter, one executive director, whatever, who says do this or that or something like that.
mm,
Because, for example, we had such a case. I will not mention names of
mm,
such organizations. But for example, one such organization promised this funding that I mentioned to you about in
mm,
2020, and it
mm,
didn't happen. And for more than 3-4 years, all associations, we all had to work for free.
mm,
Just at the promise for this funding. It was
mm,
really not a good experience at all.
mm,
And So that's why it's important that the European PropTech Cross-Border Initiative is an alliance among equals.
Mm.
And we represent, each of these organizations represents a country or even a region, and can provide entrance, very easy shortcut to enter any of these countries or region.
Mm.
Yes, we have called ourselves European, but we have also attracted other countries. For example, the Philippines are also part of the European Cross-Border Initiative.
Mm.
We also have negotiations with South Africa, which is one of the most developed in PropTech in
Mm.
Africa, and also have information about other African PropTechs.
Mm.
Yes, we think that the PropTechs can take advantage of these in imbalances worldwide, because
Mm.
there are such imbalances worldwide,
Mm.
and can make their expansion plans based on these economic imbalances
Mm.
also.
Got it.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
and the website, do you have a website, expand into .eu? Is that right?
Exactly. Expand into .eu.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Excellent. Thank you. And do they have do you have meetups? Do you everybody these cross border initiatives, they meet up? How does it work out?
Okay. Any PropTech can contact any of us,
Mm.
and we can facilitate with more information on the market,
Mm.
with some specifics how to enter, because in certain countries a new entrant should establish a legal entity. In other
Mm.
countries
Mm.
you can just find a good partner, local partner,
Mm.
so that this local partner do the major job for you, and
Mm.
afterwards you split the income.
Mm.
And the PropTechs can also find under this know-how section,
Mm.
can find a lot of reports,
Mm.
market reports, or links to market reports
Mm.
per each country, so
Mm.
that yes, if you click on it, you will see, yes, part of the
Oh.
reports.
Mm.
We are about yes, to upload also our latest reports here,
Mm.
but you can see you have on Spain, on Germany, on Bulgaria, on Europe, really very exclusive know-how. And
Mm.
here just you passed these small articles are
Mm.
very useful, because these are profiles of PropTech in each of the countries.
Nice.
So you have a very short snapshot of what is the PropTech in each of these 6 countries.
Very good.
Mhm.
Excellent. Nice. Great. Let's now talk about trends, right? Because
Okay.
you're so knowledgeable. I'm sure you're sitting at the cutting edge of all the innovations that are happening. What trends do you see emerging in the global prop tech space, say in the next few years?
I can share with you what is going on and what has started more or less in 2020. It gains speed at the
Mm.
moment, and I believe that it will affect next few years. On first place, every prop tech company should be aware that Europe is the most developed continent in prop tech.
Mm.
It is really a very highly saturated place in the world for PropTech. For 52% of
Mm.
all global PropTechs are European origin.
Mm.
The other 48% are distributed along all other continents. You have
Mm.
around 26% in North America,
Mm.
and the rest are on the other continents. And I will share with you some percentages in
Mm.
terms of the regions, the
Mm.
European regions.
Right.
The region, the European region with the most PropTechs, with the largest number of PropTechs, is DACH. This is the German-speaking region,
Yeah.
Germany, Austria, and Switzerland.
Mm.
It holds 24.3% share of the European PropTechs.
Mm.
Next is Benelux and France with 16.3. Very close to it is our region, the Central and Southeast European region, with close to 16%
Mm.
of the European PropTechs, 15% Nordics, 14.5% UK and Ireland, and 20.4% South Europe.
Mm.
But as mentioned, it really depends on each country, where it is developed and where it's not.
Got it.
But yes, PropTechs from all around the world should know really that Europe is very, very developed in PropTech.
Mm.
The other trend, I will share one trend which is covers all Europe, and one which is very important for particularly the SE region.
Mm.
So the first one, which covers all Europe, is the nearshoring. It is really something that goes on since 2020. It
Mm.
started then, but it gained really very high speed with this military operation in Ukraine in
Mm.
2022. And so a huge number of companies move from Western
Mm.
European countries, move their manufacturing and research and development facilities from Western Europe to our region,
Mm.
to the Central and Southeast European region. They also move because of the disruption of supply chains and what they experienced during the COVID period. They
Mm.
also move their businesses from the Asian regions to also to the SEE. So the SE region, the Central Southeast European region at the moment is really the hottest spot
Mm.
for new construction, for new businesses, and also, of course, for PropTech.
Mm.
Because when you have a lot of economic activities,
Mm.
then you need also a lot of new solutions.
Mm.
But what is important here to know is that 60% of the foreign direct investments in Europe come from Europe.
Mm.
Yes, this is what I mentioned to you. Western European countries
Mm.
invest in Central and South European countries. They
Mm.
move business
Mm.
from west to east
Mm.
in Europe itself.
Mm. Mm.
And the percentages just speaks for this trend. For example, in 2020, only 27% of European businesses had plans to expand operations in Europe.
Mm.
27%.
Mm.
1 year later, in 2021, this percent is 40. 1 year later, in 2022, it is 53. You see
Wow.
how it is increasing.
Mm.
And in 2023, these are plans for this year, for
Mm.
2024, it's 67%, close to 70%. They plan to move from west to east,
Mm.
this nearshoring or reshoring. That's why it's very important, and our region is really the hottest spot on the radar at the moment.
Mm.
And the other thing which is very important is it is a trend, and it's specifics which is very important for our region. That is important for PropTechs to know, is
Mhm.
that the largest real estate players
Mhm.
in our region are not national, they're regional.
The regional. Okay.
which makes the expansion of PropTechs in the whole region. These are 10 countries.
Mm,
This is our region is around 40% of Europe. It's very
mm,
large territory of
mm,
Europe. And when, for example, a PropTech starts working with one such real estate company or
mm,
player,
mm,
it is a really very good way to expand in other countries where
mm,
this player is operating. For
mm,
example, we might have, for example, GTC.
mm,
GTC is one such player
mm,
in retail and office
mm,
asset classes. They are Hungarian. They are from Hungary,
mm,
but their headquarters are in Poland,
mm. Wow.
and they operate in Bulgaria and Romania.
Wow.
You see, these are the largest countries.
Mm,
Yes, you have six out of these 10 countries are really
mm,
drivers, and
mm,
GTC covers four of them. So this is very important, makes expansion very easy.
mm. Got it. Got it.
Yes. Mhm.
Excellent. I'm blown away with all the insights I'm getting. Okay, I'm gonna share it on
I'm glad.
LinkedIn. One of my best podcasts on PropTech that I'm having. Really, we are going to convert this into a really good media article also. Uh,
Yeah, thank you.
Excellent. So, how can international investors and stakeholders get involved with PropTech Bulgaria?
We can definitely share information about what is in there in
Mm,
all these 45 countries in Europe. So usually, as asset management companies, so construction or anywhere of traditional companies approach us
mm,
for information about certain types of PropTechs where they can find them, because the genius PropTechs are not that many,
mm,
and they may not be, for example, in the Nordics.
mm,
They may be in whatever country, in Romania, in Bulgaria, in Germany. And so it is very important. We save a lot of time.
mm,
Because we know really our database that we have is close to 96% of all existing PropTechs. So
mm,
we dare say that we know all PropTechs in Europe.
mm,
And it's very important, yes, to have this information.
mm,
So any such company or any PropTech that considers entering Europe can contact me or anybody from my team,
mm.
and we will be glad to have a conversation.
Got it. Got it. Very good. Excellent. Um, we will do that on our platform also. We will pass it on to you. Um, we cannot let you go with such exhaustive knowledge that you have and not pass it on to new aspiring prop tech entrepreneurs globally, right? In fact, we just had an entrepreneur that I was talking to from Egypt. Okay, Alexandra is the city, and he's trying to build his own startup. What advice would you give to aspiring prop tech entrepreneurs globally with your expertise and experience that you have acquired over the years?
Yeah, and I will share this from the standpoint of being an entrepreneur.
Yes, yes.
So, for me, for all these 8 years, I have been operating PropTech Bulgaria. The most important thing is to have trustworthy partners.
Hmm,
This is really the most important thing.
hmm,
I have had the worst situations
hmm,
in throughout these 8 years, from partners which turned to become my competitors, stealing my business model, stealing know-how,
hmm,
and from partners which allied with my competitors, or partners which just were not trustworthy enough, and they didn't contribute to what we have agreed.
hmm,
So really having trustworthy partners is very important.
mm,
And this is one of the benefits we can give, because being so long time in PropTech, being
mm,
among the first, we have seen everybody how develops,
mm,
and we work really with only trustworthy partners. We
mm,
don't work with everybody, and it's
mm,
important.
mm. Got it.
And we can advise PropTechs or any other companies how they can operate, and can recommend such trustworthy partners which have proven themselves trustworthy in time.
Mm. And if somewhere were to ask you advice and would reach out to you, I know you're a busy woman, but do you spare time out to give your advice to young and budding entrepreneurs? Like, do you participate in some seminars or some webinars where you are educating and passing on your knowledge to them?
The few people ask me about this to do this. Otherwise, I have been a mentor for MBAs for more than 8 years from my university in the UK,
Mm,
and I have advised entrepreneurs from a large variety of countries, from the UA, from Austria,
mm,
Germany, the UK, a lot of companies from the UK.
mm,
For more than 8 years, this is really a very large number of people that I have
mm,
advised them how to start, operate their business.
mm.
And I have done this, but as I told you, a few people ask me to do this. Of course, it depends also on how engaging this will be for me, because
Yeah.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah, it has to be worth your time. I mean, the
Mm,
impact of your the value of your time, only if it reaches to many people, that is worth your time, right?
yeah,
So maybe we could do, because I'm sure people are gonna love this content, this interview that we are doing, and there will be many who would be wanting to follow your work and your advice more. So we can figure out ways in the future how can we maximize the value of your knowledge
exactly.
and reach out to
Yeah,
more people.
yeah. I'm open, yes, to discuss it. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. So, as my closing remarks here, how can our listeners stay updated with PropTech Bulgaria? Do you have a social media website, newsletter?
Yes, just proptechbulgaria.eu or
Hmm,
cproptech.eu, SEE proptech.eu. We have presence in Twitter, now X,
hmm,
LinkedIn,
hmm,
Facebook.
hmm,
So really, a very very large presence
hmm,
on our website. Everybody can. Sign for our newsletter. So
hmm.
we release also a lot of information also in our newsletters. And yeah, or
Excellent.
just find me on LinkedIn and connect with me.
Excellent. Any final
Yeah.
thoughts? Final thoughts, Sylvia, or message to our audience?
Um, if you want to succeed, you must collaborate with the right people.
Mm.
Yes, and this must be trustworthy. Otherwise, you lose a lot of money, time, and most preciously, know-how.
Exactly.
So this is my advice.
I think I like a quote where it says, "If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with the right people." So
Yes, yes, yeah,
excellent. This brings us to the end of a very, very thought-provoking conversation packed with a lot of knowledge and insights. Thank you, Sylvia, for taking your precious
yeah,
time out, and apologies for my hiccup for coming to this podcast a little late, but it was all worth the wait. And we are gonna do all our best to promote this as much as possible. We'll write media articles about it. We'll do shorts and short clippings about it, and we'll ensure that the more world knows about you, Sylvia. Thank you so much for your time.
thank you very much, yes, for the invitation. It was pleasure. Thank you.
See you around, Sylvia.
See you, bye.